Arg! Ahoy there, matey! Welcome aboard the world of boating.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
The radio show devoted exclusively to the boating lifestyle.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Brought to you by worldofboating.com, your internet portal for the boating enthusiast.
I was just looking into buying a boat of my own.
Call World of Boating toll-free now at 1-8888-28-BOAT. That's 1-888-828-BOAT.
And welcome. This is the World of Boating. Greg, your first mate. Barry the Boater and Mike the Mariner rounding out the crew as we attempt to navigate the latest boating news and information. And a big week. I'm celebrating a birthday this week. Mike the Mariner is now officially hitched. He got married last week to his better half. Quite an upgrade.
It looked like he was glowing.
I'm married up. I'm married way, way, way up.
Well, absolutely. And, we're going to continue the celebration, combine those festivities this week when Mike, his better half, and a team of mine, we're going to head out to the AC/DC concert in Tampa.
Oh, yeah.
And we're blowing it out. So, little personal note that we got out there. You got to take some time to celebrate every now and then. And, it's a good time. And, what, Barry, what?
For your age group, do they hand out those infrared headphones so you can hear the music?
Yeah, they're
like they do in the theater.
They look like devil horns. Those are actually listening devices for the older generation, maybe. I don't know.
There you go.
The really awesome thing is this is at the Tampa Stadium is where this concert's going to be.
Yeah.
They are issuing free walkers for the entire concert.
All right.
So when you get to the gate, they hand you a walker.
Well, we don't need
There
any
you
of
go.
that. We don't need. We'll just wear our World of Boating hats, and we'll stand
You'll
out
get thrown out right away.
and put some devil horns on the top of them.
There you go.
Trying to fit in with the AC/DC
Oh, so it's
crowd.
closer to you, Mike, than it is for Greggy. He has to drive the dangerous I-4.
Oh no, we've hired a driver. Yeah, we're
Really
going in
hired a
style.
A driver?
Yeah.
Oh.
We'll send.
And we live real close together. We're probably 4 miles apart.
That's true.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, for some reason, I thought you were closer that way.
Yeah.
Almost the same zip code, but not.
It's actually on my birthday. The AC/DC is performing at my birthday party.
Oh,
They're going to do like a 66th birthday celebration for
Right.
you.
64,000 of our closest friends. Right?
Barry's he's taking shots because he wasn't invited, Mike. So
No, actually, AC/DC is not my cup of tea.
what?
Well, he said cup of tea, so.
Cup of tea.
You don't know what you're missing, my friend.
That's
Anywho,
okay.
we are going to focus a little bit more on boating, and Mike the Mariner is he's out enjoying life on his vessel right now. After getting hitched. And are you doing something special this outing, or what are you doing there, Mike?
No, actually, this is a little bit of a maintenance overnight because we just had the boat up in Jacksonville for like 3 months. And
Mike? Barry is falling over laughing. I don't know what he's laughing at right now. But
because now he got married. Now she's going to start washing the bilge.
Oh, geez.
I did that before, though.
Oh, okay. Well, that's why you married her then. I understand.
Boy.
No, we just wanted to support. So today we're goofing off, but we're going to do a little bit of cleaning and organizing just to get her ready for a trip we want to take Memorial Weekend. So
okay. That sounds like a good plan for sure. And did the whole wedding thing kind of get in the way of boating the last week or so? You figure?
No.
You still got out?
We obviously didn't go boating while we were over in Clearwater getting married, but we had a fantastic time. The venue was awesome. It was on the water near the Clearwater Marina, so you could actually see the Clearwater Marina from where we were.
Right.
And the hotel was just absolutely beautiful. It's one of those old historic railroad baron hotels called the Bellevue Inn, and just it was just a really great time.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
It's well deserved. I mean, they make a good team. I mean, she's out there on the boat with him all the time.
Yep.
And I'm surprised you didn't do the whole marriage thing right there on the boat. Was that even an option or a consideration when you guys put all this stuff together?
Not for as many people as there were involved. So we had to pick a venue.
Right. And then you would have had to invite like Barry the Boater, and that would have made it weird.
Yeah.
No, it's okay.
No, we actually weren't going to originally have a real wedding. We were going to go out on the beach with a pastor and then come back to Orlando and then throw a big party. But things got out of hand, and we ended up having to do a little bit more.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's the weather's been pretty nice the last week. It's been hot here in Florida, where we broadcast out of, Central Florida, Orlando. Same for Barry the Boater down there in South Florida.
Oh, yeah.
But there's been some crazy news, and this happens periodically in our neck of the woods. Everybody outside of our general vicinity may not relate to this, but we have to look out for boaters, and obviously when you're out on the water, but you also got to look out for gators, because we had a lady killed when she was out boating with her hubby this week in Orlando, just outside of Orlando, one of the big lakes.
Yeah.
And
Wasn't she in a canoe or something like that?
Yeah, that's a boat. That still counts.
Well, I know it's a boat, but it's a low boat.
Yeah, I know that area. I grew up where that happened. Used to hunt and fish in that area, and lots and lots of extremely large bull gators in that area. And what happened was the alligator was a little bit under the water, and as the canoe went over the alligator, which they didn't see, it startled the alligator. They flipped the canoe. The alligator turned around, and unfortunately, she didn't make it.
Yeah.
But that is the way that happens most of the time. An alligator is normally not stalking people.
Right.
That there's usually something that agitates it and moves it towards you. So.
Yeah. They had creeped up on it, obviously, and they even said they were only in like 2 feet of water. I mean,
exactly.
that could happen.
Area,
Yeah, you could. I mean, that could happen in any lake here in Florida, let alone a spring or something like that, where people are doing kayaking and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I mean, you
100%.
You got to keep your wits about you.
Yeah, there's an alligator in almost every natural body of water in Florida,
and they get big. Some of these gators.
Very, very large. In fact, just a mile from where I am, on the St. Johns River, there's an area that has a particular grouping of very, very large gators. So when we go through there on the Craig Cat, for instance, I mean, there are times you'll see a 12-footer,
right?
12 and a half foot. I mean, very, very large.
Well, that's what they
alligator.
figured. That one that got this lady was, like 11, 12 feet, and they actually found 2 and killed them. I don't know how they, figure out which gator it is, but they did euthanize 2 gators after the attack, because that's usually what ends up happening. And I was actually driving down over to Cocoa Beach, down to 95 from Orlando last week, and I saw a gator on the side of the road that was at least 10 feet long. And it obviously walked across the road and got hit by a car, and they pulled it off to the side. I'm
surprised the car
Whoa!
survived.
Well, exactly.
The car's probably in the shop right now.
Yeah, I mean, it was a big ass gator. And
we have a big one in our marina right now that's about that size. That's been roaming around here for about a month.
Yeah, I mean, usually they're kind of cool to see. I mean, I when I saw that story, I was like, I keep forgetting that this could happen.
Yeah,
you do want to keep your distance, as fun as they are to see. Pull your phone out, get a picture or two, and that kind of thing. But you don't want to get too close. You don't want to startle them. That's for sure.
Right. I mean, and when you're boating, there's alligators and also bears. And in the area where I am, there's like the Wekiva River. There's these tributaries, and there's lots of bears in those areas. In fact, there's a hiking trail right off the river that is called the Black Bear Trail. And Colleen and I came upon a bear while we were hiking.
Really? Well, you know what? We just had a bear sighting literally 3 miles from the studio here this week. And that is extremely rare, but same kind of thing. It was off of one of the nature trails, and obviously the bear had wandered into a parking lot of one of the shopping centers over by Costco. Probably wanted to get that, hot dog for $1.50 and a Coke or something. I don't know. So they had to chase the bear away and that kind of thing. So, watch out for the wildlife when you're out there boating, let alone walking around. All right, more coming up on the World of Boating.
You're listening to the World of Boating Radio Network.
explorer in the other 2/3 of your world. Be the buddy who takes the kids in the aquarium instead of just to it. Be adventurous. Be amazed. Be a diver.
Traffic sucks, unless you're scuba diving with Mike Scott.
Mike glanced down at his dive computer. It showed less than 50 psi left in his tank. Probably just a few more breaths.
Or riding shotgun in a thrilling car chase.
One bullet hit the Jeep's windshield, spiderwebbing the passenger side. Mike shifted into second gear and felt the Jeep leap forward. This just got serious.
Escape your commute with audiobooks from author Eric Douglas. Download to your phone. Go to booksbyeric.com or audible.com.
Hosting a radio show about scuba diving and boating is one of the best gigs on the planet. It's actually part of my job to check out and report on cool new products I personally use to enhance my diving and boating adventures. However, I do believe in sharing the joy, and this is why we've added Nanook protective hard cases to our list of products you can now purchase on the merchandise page at scubaradio.com. Nanook cases are designed to protect the most sensitive equipment in the harshest environments. Underwater photographers, listen up. From their high-impact NK7 resin to their exclusive Power Claw latches, Nanook has raised the bar for those of you that demand the best protection for your gear. Plus, Nanook protective cases cost less than similar products currently on the market. The company has been around for over 15 years, but it's new to the U.S., so we've made a small number of Nanook cases available exclusively for you at a special introductory price on the merchandise page at scubaradio.com. Go there now and check out Nanook, the evolution of protection.
Successfully navigated the Sea of Commerce and now are clear to cruise with the World of Boating.
I do like the water.
The radio show devoted exclusively to the boating lifestyle.
The sun, the sea air, good friends.
Brought to you by worldofboating.com, your internet portal for the boating enthusiast.
Come on, Williams, what are you standing around for here? Get on board.
Get on board. Don't fret. Don't try to worry.
This is the World of Boating. Greg, your first mate, Barry the Boater, Mike the Mariner rounding out the crew as we attempt to navigate the latest boating news and information, and also just make sure you're properly prepared when you're out on the water, styling as a boater. I got some new shades for my boat outings from Baio, Bajio. They're a company that manufactures sunglasses. They're pretty popular now, but they're right on a new Smyrna Beach in Central Florida. And why is it important to have the proper eyeglasses when you're out on the water? Well, you want to cut down on the glare with those polarized glasses. That's pretty thing. But the thing they're working on right now, or they've really kind of fine-tuned, is working out prescription lenses for someone like me. You know, before you'd have to have the bifocal thing kind of going on at the bottom of the lens. Now, getting progressives, which is what I use to drive, is pretty easy to get, you know, with these polarized, stylish, you know, fishing glasses. And when they're polarized, you can see the surface of the water better. You can see the gators that you're about to run over, you know, that you don't want to. And it's important. And look at me on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. I look amazing.
Dude, man,
my new
you're rocking those glasses.
Bajio shades.
Yeah.
They're pretty comfy too, I gotta say. Yeah, you like them, don't you, Barry?
Do they flip up?
No, these are just your typical.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, actually, they probably have those. The ones I have the, I think it's Darlene or Darlin model. They got a whole, you know, a whole bunch.
What is the base curve on those lenses?
Base curve? What do you mean?
Yeah. Well, when you have lenses produced, they put a base curve in them, or they have a base curve to them. If they're not made the way you're used to using them, you first put them on, and it looks like you're in a fishbowl. So
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Well, I know because I go to an optometrist and they cut my lenses for me.
Okay.
And I specify a certain base curve so that when I get my glasses, I should be able to see clearly without a fishbowl.
Well,
They say, well, you got to get used to it. I said, no, I should not have to get used to it.
Okay.
If they're cut
Barry,
right, then
Barry
they
is a
look good.
special case.
Yes, I
And
am.
that's why he doesn't have a new pair of Bahio sunglasses
I
like
have
me.
progressive
Bahio.
lenses that are polarized. So,
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean,
I'm not saying those are
they're
bad.
not
I
as
think those are
stylish as
pretty-
these
No,
Bahio.
they are not as,
Bahios.
those are pretty nice looking glasses.
They are pretty sweet.
And if they come in my prescription with my base curve, then I would definitely look into
Well,
them.
they do. I mean, that's what I'm saying. They're making them to order, and if you have a prescription, you have progressives like me, so I can see up close when I look
Mhm.
down the bottom. Used to have that line in there, and the whole thing would look kind of
That's
weird.
the regular bifocals, yes.
So
Yeah.
you can see that mahi when you're up there in the tower bearing down on him.
Right.
Right.
Or yeah, I mean, they're making them specifically for boating and fishing, that kind of thing.
Mhm.
Matter of fact, Bahio, I think is how they say it, is Spanish for shallow.
Yeah. So
or
typically, like
shallows.
if you're using like a green tint glass
Yeah.
on your sunglasses, that would be more for the flats kind of area.
Yeah.
And then if you get the blue tint, that's typically more blue water. So
Right.
if you're going offshore, they say you should, lean more towards the blue lenses.
Yeah,
And then you've
okay.
got the brownish tones, which would be more for like marshy on land kind of.
And those
environment.
also, they block the UVA and UVB rays.
Yeah, they do all that stuff.
Yeah,
And look at
because
them.
that's-
I got
that's important.
I got the mirrored type look. So I mean,
You
I
know,
look like a
the-
world-class boater right now, don't I?
They
Barry?
block all the rays, so he can't
Right.
see a thing. It's
You
like
can't-
looking at a black wall.
There you go. I mean, but as you age and you're getting up there, you have to protect those retinas and those corneas from all of this radiation. So
If they only had a
you're-
Barry
radio?
filter, you just automatically block out all
Nope.
views of Barry.
That's okay.
Yeah, it's
It's
coming.
okay, Grandpa.
Yeah, someone's jelly. I can tell. But these are
I'm
pretty
not
cool.
jelly.
I will say they're very comfy too.
I think you should wear them all the time.
Well, I'm wearing them right now in a dark
Yeah.
studio, which is not ideal, but I kind of got the whole, what
Do you
Ray
wear your
Charles thing going on
sunglasses at
right now.
night?
Or Stevie
Yeah,
Wonder.
there
I
you
could do
go.
the Stevie Wonder.
You could do that. Yep. And just start hitting all the buttons till you get it right.
Ebony and ivory.
Hey, one other thing, if you want to
Okay.
see alligators up close and personal, you can go to Shark Valley off of Tamiami Trail.
Oh
They
yeah.
have a 15-mile bike loop, and you could
Yeah.
ride bikes around there, and
Well,
the
that's weird.
and you'll find the gators right up against the.
Why don't they call it
roadway
a
there.
galley or a gator alley instead of shark
because
alley?
it's a area where a lot of baby sharks congregate.
Yeah. And we
Okay.
have
like a
one up
nursery
here
for-
too, called the Apopka Loop. It's a 38-mile network of trails, and we go out there. We go cycling out there on our gravel bikes, and lots and lots of alligators, but other wildlife too. And you can boat on that lake. A lot of fishermen. It's a great fishing lake.
Yeah. Well,
They could probably use those glasses.
it would help
Mm.
see the
Yeah.
gators.
No, I don't think those glasses work on Lake Apopka. No.
I don't think they would. I don't. I really don't care. I just care how I look, which is I look like I look
Just
like a
pat
You
on
boater.
look
the
like you
back.
can see.
Exactly. No, and actually they are really good. I will say, the prescription. We're in a dark studio, and I'm actually
Yeah.
seeing everything quite well right now. So,
Yeah.
no, Bahio, I think is how they
Bahio.
say it. Bajio. Look them up. But I can vouch for these. These are pretty awesome. And
Mhm.
so yeah, get them. I mean, when you're out on your Craig Cat, I mean, that's a pretty low, to the water type of vessel. Not much,
Yeah.
more out of the water
Yeah,
than
and
a
I-
canoe like that lady that got attacked.
Right.
I mean, do you guys actually ever are you ever concerned about running over a gator or seeing something like
Well,
that? Or
we have we have rolled right over gators a couple of times.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm always kind of alert for that. And but I live in Florida, and I'm really
part of
on the
the-
water all the time.
You
So
have
it's
to,
something
yeah.
I've kind of been around my whole life. I mean, I used to duck hunt over in Mosquito Lagoon, and up in some of those marshy areas. alligators everywhere. And when I look back on it, I question my judgment because
Your sanity.
because you go out there at right before sunup, and you're burying yourself in a mound of reeds on the water's edge, and how smart is that?
Well,
you're invincible when you're young.
Well, I probably still need to be evaluated. I'm not sure.
Well, yeah, you're amongst good company. And when I say that, I'm talking about Barry, not me, of course.
Of course you are.
But yeah, just got to be aware of your surroundings.
You no longer look cool with your regular glasses on.
Well, I took them. I didn't want to make you so jealous that you'd be distracted the entire show.
Okay, all right.
But
he needs you to be engaged.
Yes, he wants to see my eyes. He wants to look deep into my eyes.
Hey, we got some good boating news about sales.
We got boating news about sales. Okay, well, let's take a break and then we'll talk about that. And we've alerted our passengers about the gators and done our part there. Let's see how the industry's doing next on the World of Boating.
You're listening to the World of Boating Radio Network.
Traffic sucks, unless you're scuba diving with Mike Scott.
Mike glanced down at his dive computer. It showed less than 50 psi left in his tank. Probably just a few more breaths.
Or riding shotgun in a thrilling car chase.
One bullet hit the Jeep's windshield, spiderwebbing the passenger side. Mike shifted into second gear and felt the Jeep leap forward. This just got serious.
Escape your commute with audiobooks from author Eric Douglas. Download to your phone. Go to booksbyeric.com or audible.com.
Do you have a message or product you need to share with the boating world? Well, look no further than the World of Boating radio show. Just like you, thousands of boating enthusiasts are hearing this message, and we could be talking about you and your product or service as early as next Saturday. Remember, a terrible thing happens when you don't advertise. Nothing. Go to worldofboating.com, send us an email, and let's get to work to make your marketing message matter.
Successfully navigated the Sea of Commerce and now are clear to cruise with the World of Boating.
I do like the water.
The radio show devoted exclusively to the boating lifestyle.
The sun, the sea air, good friends.
Brought to you by worldofboating.com, your internet portal for the boating enthusiast.
Listen up. The ship is sinking. Okay? We're going down right now. Just wrap your heads around the reality of that. In 5 minutes, this ship is going to be at the bottom of the lake, and there aren't enough spaces on the lifeboat. Who are we going to save? Who's going to fix this ship?
This is the World of Boating. Greg, your first mate, Barry the Boater, Mike the Mariner, rounding out the crew. All right, I put back my
ZZ Top glasses.
My Bajío sunglasses back on because Barry kept looking deep into my eyes and making me uncomfortable.
Making you nervous?
Yeah, so these are kind of that mirrored kind of protection factor. I didn't realize, like, gosh, I can hide from his.
So are you a superhero now, or are we going to see you on some superhero movie?
No, I'm a rocker. That's what I am. I'm getting ready for the AC/DC concert because he is, not only the great, perfect for, being out of the boat for fishing and that kind of thing. I mean, these kind of have that rock look to them, don't they?
They do. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll have to wear these to the AC/DC concert.
Yeah, a World of Boating shirt and those glasses, and you'll be set.
Be styling. That's right. And
let's see, how much are tickets? $200 a pop. Parking.
What, for AC/DC?
$75. Yeah. What is it?
What?
Oh, it's more.
I wish.
Seriously?
Are you kidding me? Yeah, Barry hasn't been to a concert since the 80s, obviously.
Wait.
So.
Wait. You mean the World of Boating crew hasn't gotten a raise in 20 years because there's no money, but you're going to what, $1,000 ticket concert?
Well, it's my birthday,
okay. Okay.
I wish they were 1,000.
Yeah, really. Yeah, we got
more. Oh, forget it. Forget about it.
Yeah, just forget about it. It isn't worth discussing.
No, it ain't.
So,
but we can tell you that some boat companies are showing some profits, blah, 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 words. Malibu posted third quarter profits for 2025.
Yeah.
I guess their quarters are a little different than ours. Net sales rose 12.4% as the company leveraged operational strength and product demand. Malibu are those boats that you can do some skiing and wakeboarding.
Right.
They usually have the big bar with the speakers facing aft so that you can hear all your rock and music.
The captain's going to be wearing Bahio sunglasses like me.
That's right. They'll be listening to AC/DC while they're wakeboarding all across the
exactly.
lake,
That's
running over the alligators as the bodies get chewed
well,
up.
hopefully not.
Yeah.
But
does that report cover other boat segments like
well, that was just
trawlers or
no, these are just separate boat segments. But here's another one, Twin V, which is a pretty popular boat. They released their first quarter finances. They showed and this is really increased, 91.7% sequential increase from the 2024 fourth quarter, exceeding forecast by 50%. That is an amazing amount of increase. So people, I guess, are looking for center console fishing boats that are maybe a little bit wider. And I don't know, do you consider a Twin V more comfortable than a single V hull?
Well, it depends. I'm kind of a traditionalist, so I like a typical deep V, single V hull. But in general, a catamaran or a twin hull vessel is going to be smoother in many sea conditions, but they handle differently. So you just have to be careful.
More deck space, that kind of thing, might be better for the
deck space,
passengers.
but they handle differently.
Yeah, understood.
And they sit on a trailer differently. I've seen a trailer for Twin Vs. They're kind of strange looking.
So
the twin bunker. Yeah, it's got twin bunkers, one for each hull.
So, by the way, we're talking about sales figures for the first quarter of 2025, Barry?
Well, one of them was looks like the fourth quarter of 2024. That was the Twin V. And then the other one, they said third quarter 2025. Not all companies have first, second, third, and fourth quarters as, January through April and so on and so forth.
It's their fiscal year.
Some of them are fiscal
the
year exactly. So apparently that's how they set it up for Malibu.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, because overall, I was reading some reports that said new boat sales were down by about 9% last year. And, we were talking about this a few weeks ago with the tariff stuff. It's going to take a little time to figure out how that's affecting things. And remember, one of the things I said was there going to be a little juice added to new boat sales from some people that might wanted to get purchases in before any tariffs take effect?
Right.
And, I mean, I don't know if we're going to see any uptick in that regard or not. I mean, it's really too early to know, I think, isn't it?
It depends on the manufacturer. There was another one. Well, there was another one, Mastercraft, which also produces similar boats, wakeboard, that type of boat. Their third quarter third quarter 2025. So obviously a fiscal year end. They show their net sales for the quarter were down 9.5%.
We haven't had a third quarter 2025. You mean 2024?
No, it's a fiscal quarter. Again, their fiscal year doesn't have to be January. It doesn't have to be January through December, which is a calendar year end. Some companies, their fiscal year ends could be, it could be in October. Sometimes they set it up that way because they know they sell most of their boats during the summertime. So that might be when their
so we're already in their fiscal third quarter.
For some manufacturers, not necessarily.
Every company can have their own fiscal year.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So that's how they set it up. So if you have let's say your fiscal year starts April 1st.
Right.
Right.
So April, May, and June would be your first quarter of that year. July, August, September would be the second quarter.
Okay.
October, November, December would be the third, and then January, February, March of the next year would be your fourth quarter.
All right. But going back to more traditional ways, whether you take that mix out of it, they're really talking about the first quarter of 2025 , more or less.
Yeah.
You could say
from a calendar perspective,
yes, exactly.
But not from their...
Right.
But there are some manufacturers that have shown some increases, and there are some that have shown some decreases. But overall, you're not really going to know anything until. And another thing with the tariffs is that they really have not begun to affect anything yet, because a lot of this stuff that will have those tariffs are just coming in now.
Yeah,
Right.
and here's the thing. It's not where the boat is built; it's where the manufacturer has to buy their components, right?
Where
So,
they get the parts and
things
everything.
like gauges, the cables, the electrical wire, all those things. If they're made in China, then there's a tariff impact there.
Right.
But raw materials for fiberglass and things like that that are bought locally. That's not so much the issue. But
And we don't know how long it's going to go and that kind of thing. And that's what I was talking about before. But like I said, it's going to be interesting to see if we actually see any positive impact from this. I mean, I know it was a lot of gloom and doom at first, like, oh God, it's going to cause boat prices to raise, and we'll have to wait and see how that pans out. But I you remember what I said, Barry? I was thinking that this could have the opposite effect, at least short term, from people that are maybe thinking they're on the fence. They want to get a new boat and like, hey, I want to get this thing purchased before I have the potential of getting hit by a tariff and higher prices on this new vessel that I'd like to get my hands on. And I'm wondering if we might see something like that. It'd be very interesting.
It could be, and it could also be that a downturn if people feel that their stock market portfolio has gone down enough where they want to conserve their cash till they know what's going to happen later on. And you could check those things out by watching, for example, the auto auctions like the Jackson Barrett auto auctions, things like that. What are people doing with their collectibles? Are they buying them, selling them? Who's making money right now?
Okay.
And Mike is he sells pre-owned boats, so he can tell you what's happening in the market right now too.
Well, it wouldn't be so much pre-owned boats; it would be new boats. That's what.
But the pre-owned also is affected by whether people have extra cash to spend on a boat.
Well, right.
I can tell you for a fact right now the market's in many segments very, very depressed.
Yeah,
so,
soft, because people don't know how this is gonna go. I mean, the uncertainty has people pumping the brakes. But like I said, on the flip side, maybe a new boat, you might want to pull the trigger now. More coming up.
You're listening to the World of Boating Radio Network. Successfully navigated the Sea of Commerce and now are clear to cruise with the World of Boating.
I do like the water.
The radio show devoted exclusively to the boating lifestyle.
The sun, the sea air, good friends.
Brought to you by worldofboating.com, your internet portal for the boating enthusiast.
Oh, look at this. So much fun, you'll ship your pants.
You'll ship your pants, bro! We'll be singing and dancing. Singing and dancing. Singing and dancing. Singing and dancing. When that great, great ship comes in.
This is the World of Boating. Greg, your first mate, Barry the Boater, Mike the Mariner, rounding out the crew. Hey, I was in the Florida Keys this past week, and I got to give a little shout out to Ocean Point Suites for hooking us up. Fine location right there in Isla Mirada, opsuites.com. It's basically, it's been there forever. And I keep going back, and I'm always amazed how they manage this property. It has its own marina, it has a cool little beach place that they've manicured there in the Keys, which is kind of rare for that part of the Florida Keys for sure, let alone all up and down the Florida Keys. But you want a cool place to stay, and you might maybe have a boat you want to trailer down like Barry the Boater. opsuites.com is the website to start. And
I've stayed there a few times. It's really nice. They're condos that I guess they're privately owned, and then they rent them out. And they're always nice, clean. They're big, so you don't feel cramped. And yeah, they do have a boat ramp there. They have parking.
Right.
It's
and usually much more economical than staying at the hotels in the area too. You'll save a few bucks if you rent from them. opsuites.com. Also, by the way, May 17th, the day after my birthday, after I'm rocking out with Mike the Mariner at the AC/DC concert, the National Safe Boating Week begins.
Yep. I was about to mention that.
Yeah.
May 17th through the 23rd. You know how they tell you that during the spring solstice and the winter solstice that you go up and you change the batteries on all your smoke detectors around the house.
Is that when
keep it fresh.
you strip down naked in a full moon and do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
You've been watching again, I could tell. So National Safe Boating Week is a good time to check out all your safety devices in your boat. Check the flares to see if they've expired or they're going to expire, because even though you may have a boatload of flares, if they're expired, the Coast Guard will say you have none. I have tested flares that are out of date, and I would say about 50% of them will not fire.
Really?
Don't ask me how I know, because on July 4th, all kinds of fireworks go
You're
off.
theorizing.
I am theorizing.
You're
yeah.
theorizing and guessing.
Right.
Right. Right.
Okay. Yeah, but the summer solstice, yeah, that's the benchmark date you use to strip down naked on a full moon and shoot off a flare.
Well, it's so hot out. It's 91 degrees today. You're lucky I am not topless right now.
Oh, geez. Why did you?
We're all lucky.
I just threw up a little in my mouth right now.
There you go. But I mean, it's the same thing with Safe Boating Week. You know, double check everything. Double check your safety equipment. Check your lines. Really, I always took care of my lines, but one day I got one caught up and it stretched and snapped so easily. I said, "Oh, these are garbage." Went and bought some new lines, because they will, over time, they may look okay, but they're not okay.
Yeah, especially for boaters that keep their boat in the water like I do. I'm constantly checking the lines, and about once a year I have to replace them because they stretch, and when they stretch, then then they can snap. Because every storm that comes through, wind hits your boat and puts tension on all those lines. So yeah, that's something people overlook.
Well, and Memorial Day weekend is the unofficial kickoff to the boating season for the rest of the country outside of Florida. So, your local Marine Patrol, your lake or whatever might be doing some little safety stop type things next week.
Unless they pass that new law.
That's in Florida. I'm saying everyone else. But regardless, they'll be be on the lookout. They might be doing some special programs to kind of alert everybody to, like, hey, like you said, do a checklist on your boat, especially if you're like the majority of people through the U.S., where Memorial Day is the weekend where you start to get your boat back in the water, and it might be a little rusty, and that kind of thing.
Make sure your either Boat US or SeaTow membership is up to date.
Right.
Because on that weekend, there's going to be a lot of boats that are going to get towed in because maybe they didn't check out their whole boat before they took it out for the season.
Yeah.
It's going to be a busy weekend. Sometimes you'll see at the ramps, you'll see either Coast Guard Auxiliary or United States Power Squadrons will have people out there with brochures, with some freebies. Sometimes they have small life jackets to give to your kids, things like that. So it's a nice time to get out there, and they try to make it safe, but they also try to make it fun.
Right. Now, do you ever take your boat out at night there, Barry? Or do you like to keep it in the garage all the time?
I've taken it out at night during the winter time because it's easy. It gets dark early, especially Christmas.
Right. But but you got to be a little bit more on your toes. I mean, and no navigation, a little bit better in the evening.
And really keep a clear lookout for lights. Because sometimes out there it's so dark, the only thing you'll see is a little red light or a little green light moving along the water. If you're not paying attention, that could be another boat. It could be a marker. You've got to pay attention in the dark.
Well, the draft on your vessel is like what? 6 inches, maybe?
No. That's the draft of the hull. But if you're talking about the lower unit, so you don't tear it up, I would say 3 feet. So I have my alarm set to 4 feet.
Okay. Well, that's deeper than I thought. What about you, Mike? You have a much bigger vessel.
Yeah, it drafts 4 feet.
Okay.
So I have my alarms set for 7.
Yeah.
So I gave myself 3 feet on all my electronics. But yeah, I mean, the thing about navigating at night that's different. First of all, either study where you're going if you've never been there before, really study the charts, or only operate if it's in waters which is actually my preference. But the main thing is speed control. I mean, you really do everything slower and be much more deliberate about your decisions about, making turns. Make sure you're clearing. You're looking both directions on both quarters to make sure that if you're going to make a turn, there's not another boat out there roaming around in the dark overtaking you.
Mhm.
You have to really take your awareness up a couple of notches and really concentrate on.
Well,
on
you don't have
nighttime
those
navigation.
visual cues to look out in front of you, like, hey, that looks like deeper water too, or there's some obstruction. The reason I bring it up is, like I said, I was down in the Keys and I was talking to one of the captains down there, and they said the tides were varying extremely crazy right now, and they were constantly having boaters, especially, the Keys are always a problem, but when they have the huge tide shifts, that we're having a lot of problems with people not familiar with the waters, running into coral or obstructions and things like that, just because they weren't familiar with the waterway. So how do you combat that? Just being familiar, or
you look at your chart, and then you also look at the water. The water will tell you. I think if it's dark green or something like that, they say if it's tan, it's light. It's shallow water. If it's greener water,
well,
then
but
it's
what
probably
if
deeper water.
this is at night? That's what I'm.
Well,
they were
that's
saying
why
at
your
night it was
charts
even-
all have topographical coloration on the charts themselves.
Yeah.
So it'll show. Yeah.
And you have to know exactly where you are against those charts, right? So, the Keys are a special problem because
They're trickier.
You really need local knowledge to safely navigate, especially at night down there. You have the Hawk Channel, which goes from Biscayne up through, I think, about the Middle Keys. I'm not exactly sure how far Hawk Channel goes. It's a very wide channel. I mean, there are times when you really can't, if you're not looking at electronic charts, you don't know exactly where you are in the channel because it's 2 miles wide.
Yeah, it might be the Hawk Tui channel, and you don't want to end up there. That'll just create a mess and probably turn you into a viral sensation. You don't want to be. But anywho, we'll leave it right there for now, or for this week's edition of the Big Show. Till next time, remember, whether it is sail or motor,
life is better as a boater.
Safe boating, everyone.
You barnacle-bitten swab. World of Boating is brought to you by worldofboating.com, your internet portal for the boating enthusiast.
Any of this getting through to you, son?
World of Boating is a production of Overboard Entertainment Incorporated.
Computer standing by.
Remember, you can listen live or to archives of past shows worldwide over the internet at worldofboating.com.
Computers can do that?
So tell a friend and come aboard every week for the World of Boating.
This is so great. I can't wait. I'm getting goosebumps. Feel me. Feel me.
The radio show devoted exclusively to the boating lifestyle.
TTFN, ta-ta for now.
The opinions you just heard on the World of Boating are those of the hosts, callers, and guests. They are not necessarily those of any station or network, its management, or advertisers.
What are you being such a weenie for?
While on the water, your safety and the safety of many others depends on you. So boat smart and operate your vessel only after receiving the proper training and instruction for your area.
There is a fine line between genius and madness.
Have any questions or comments? Feel free to do so via the web at worldofboating.com.